Hey, some of y'all talking out the side of y'all neck. Yeah, man, welcome back to the channel. Hey, you know what? Back in the day, there was this song that came out in the 80s called Talking Out the Side of Your Neck. Larry Blackmon and Cameo, man, they put that thing out, man, and that thing was hot. A lot of people forgot about it. I know I didn't, and it meant a whole lot. But guess what? The marching bands in the HBCU community took over that thing and still playing it to this day and rocking the stands at football games and stuff like that. Hey, I want to thank a friend, Joseph Epps, who hit me onto this and wanted to hear something about it. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be talking about how they took talking out the side of your neck and turned it into a phenomenon called neck. So when you hear somebody talking about neck, they're talking about them college marching bands doing what they do, man. And that's a funk thing, you know what I mean? How somebody took a song from the funk genre, put it into the marching band world, and turned the stadium out. Let's get into this thing. The funk is still alive. Yeah, man, you know, I had to get into this one because if you have ever stepped foot in a stadium on a Saturday afternoon at an HBCU football game, especially in the South, you have heard those opening horns blow. It's the funk living on, and it is a sound that makes the hair on your arms stand up. Telling the other school to just shut up and sit down because their time is officially up. And I feel kind of sad for you if you were never fortunate enough to know what I'm talking about. But hang around until the end and you'll get to see what the big deal is. But first, it's about the legend of neck and how it all started. A song originally called Talking Out the Side of Your Neck by the funk band Cameo, and one that took a political jab at the clowns in Washington one fine day in a recording studio in Georgia, ending up becoming one of the most respected and sometimes most hated anthems in college sports. But what do you mean when you say someone is talking out the side of their neck? Well, it's just pure slang. Like when somebody is speaking unwisely, talking nonsense and bypassing use of their brain, running their mouth, simply talking that bullshit and can't back it up in real life. Similar to these internet trolls, if I'm keeping it real. So how in the world did a funk track about being fed up with politicians and their BS become the ultimate weapon in college football and even other sports? Well, that's what we're about to get into, and to really understand how we got to what they call neck marching band battles in modern times, we have to go back to 1984 at Cheshire Sound Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. You see, Larry Blackmon and Cameo were right in the middle of a major transition. Somehow, they had survived the disco era and were moving from being this massive, sprawling funk ensemble of as many as 14 players into a lean, high-tech quartet of Larry Blackmon, Tommy Jenkins, Nathan Leftinet, and Charlie Singleton, and they were ready to take over the pop chart. They dropped the album She's Strange, and the third track was a heavy-hitting groove called Talking Out the Side of Your Neck. Now, most people today just hear the groove, but back then, Larry and the boys were actually unloading a widespread critique on all the people in Washington, D.C. They were frustrated with the cycle of bickering and delivering empty promises. Yeah, and you see they actually name-checked Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan right there in the lyrics. It was a song about political dishonesty, but musically, it was a masterpiece of syncopation that was just begging for a horn section to tear it apart. It was released as a single, not being a big crossover, but reaching 21 on the Billboard R&B chart and a key track on the album, which hit #1 on the Billboard R&B albums chart, and was certified gold for selling over 500,000 copies. But now, take the lyrics in the song chorus, turn it into a chant, and boom! That was the perfect sound and lick for a marching band to snatch up. But this is where the debate gets heated in the marching band world. And this is Super Bowl type of HBCU history right here. Because if you ask who started the trend, the folks at Texas Southern University will tell you their Ocean of Soul band was the first to debut the track in November of 1984. They integrated it into their show, making it a foundational part of their identity for decades. But then you have a young cat over at Norfolk State University saying otherwise. Tony Anderson was a trombone player in 1984, becoming a drum major in 85. And he tells a different story, one about riding back to Hampton, Virginia, when he heard the song on the radio while passing the Williamsburg exit on I-64. He knew right then it was the perfect weapon for their upcoming rivalry game against Hampton University, the Battle of the Bay. He bought the tape, wrote down the notes, but when Tony Anderson brought that tape in, Emory Fears heard it and knew what was up right away and gave Tony the freedom to execute it. And the Spartan Legion turned it into an anthem that very week. The crowd went crazy from the very first note, and after Norfolk State defeated Hampton University that day, Neck became the permanent anthem for the Spartan Legion. Hey, you have to understand the environment of an HBCU band room in the 80s to realize why this hit so hard. These bands weren't just background music at a game, they were then and still are the main event. I personally know what that means. We're basically talking about the difference between show band style versus drum corps style, where show band halftime is a World War II field battle and the stands are a military zone of musical trash talk. Back then, playing Neck was the ultimate insult. It was our version of saying shut up and see you later to the other school, but with a lot more edge. If your team was winning, or if you wanted to tell the other band they didn't do anything worth all their hype during halftime, you blasted that song in their faces to let them know they were just talking out the side of their neck. It was musical, psychological warfare in the stadium, especially in the stands. But honestly, no one had a monopoly on it, because every band director at a historically black college or university had the same access to that funk, and they were all writing their own versions to see who could blow the loudest. BCU and Florida A&M helped popularize that polished and aggressive Florida sound, heavy on the brass with a rhythmic swing that would just dominate the atmosphere of the Florida Classic football game in Orlando. As the song moved through the MEAC and the SWAC, it became a statement of dominance. Jackson State, the sonic boom of the South, has their version being featured in a video game. Southern University, the Human Jukebox, is famous for a gritty arrangement that many consider a pretty powerful version of the song. When an HBCU band plays Neck, they are filling those spaces with pure brass power and a call and response feel that pulls the entire crowd into the conversation. It is disrespect with a funky rhythm, and it became the DNA of the culture. But the idea got so funky, it spread like a wildfire, even getting to predominantly white institutions too. Now, that one really blew an old head mind like myself, especially when LSU took it, but made a controversial turn when the student body added a vulgar 5-word chant, which got the song officially banned in 2010. If you didn't catch that, You got to dig up the words up for yourself. You ain't getting me in that mess. So yeah, it became a point of national controversy, restricted because the university administration couldn't control the crowd using it. Yet, the power of the song was so strong for them that it couldn't stay buried. Yeah, that's Odell Beckham Jr., and he was fiending for neck so badly that in 2017, he reportedly went to the band director and offered to pay the university fines. Hey, but the story really came full circle when you look at how the HBCU culture reclaimed the throne in 2022. There was a big buildup for this game, and even a blind man could see what was about to happen in that Louisiana war zone. But LSU had the trenches dug. Yet man, Southern University marched into the LSU stadium and gave them the business like they stole something. Yes, sir. They blew that definitive version of Neck at them, essentially snatching the song back into the very culture it started in. A moment where the human jukebox proved that the groove was only rented out from the community that created it. Huh. You gonna learn today, partner. And they had to learn again on another day, too. Like in 2024, when the Iowa Hawkeyes used it as a troll move against LSU in the Elite Eight NCAA tournament. It shows you that this isn't just a song anymore. It is a legacy of resilience and pride that started in the Black community and infiltrated every level of sports culture. Hey, I think y'all earned it now by sticking around so long. So let's take a minute to listen to the funk of Cameo blowing through the horns of a few powerhouse bands who take no prisoners when it comes to playing neck. And understand, this ain't a game, y'all. This is eat or get eaten. Man, from Larry Blackmon's frustration with Washington, D.C. to the modern-day neck battles, this groove tells the world that these marching machines, especially HBCUs, aren't just playing music. They're sending a message and making names for themselves. And if you ain't ready for the real funk, get your butt out of the way then. Yeah, bro, man, that is just another way of how the funk keeps living on.
So yeah, the debate goes on who started that thing first, man. I pretty much concede to say that it was Norfolk State, because if you look at the dates, they did it in October of 1984 and Texas did it in November. So we can kind of officially say that. But I guarantee you they're not the first people to think about it either way, because everybody at the time was kind of had their mind on that song and how funky it was. That's how it goes in the marching band world these days, you know what I mean? A song is hit on the radio, somebody takes that idea. And so that's what we do on this channel. We do some rock and roll, some R&B, some funk, some jazz, all kinds of music. You know what I'm talking about? This time it happened to be about marching band. We're going to do some more in the future, but we're going to get back to the funk for a minute and we'll see what happens from there. But I hope you appreciate what you see on the channel. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and that type of thing. Hey, and I'd be happy to have you as a member on this channel. I'm Mr. Mindset. I'm going to check you guys out next time.